All right, a pleasant morning to you all who has joined us on today's edition of the program Scoreboard in 15, right on 32 FM 94.9. Yes, yesterday we discussed about the big game set to go down there in England. Yesterday, that's between Aston Villa and Manchester City. All in quest to qualify for European football for the 2025-2026 football season. But the event yesterday took a big toll on Aston Villa, and for Manchester City, well, you could tell that maybe it is the best that they deserve at this point in time, as they won by 2-1. At the death of that game, Matheus Nunes, the Portuguese man, he was the one who scored the winner. That's to shock the Villains from getting a point out of the Etihad Stadium yesterday. But then we talk about the French Ligue 1 also, where Paris Saint-Germain were held to a 1-1 draw against Nantes. And then talk about FC Barcelona as well. 40 shots, 1 goal. Dani Olmo, he was the goal scorer for that FC Barcelona yesterday. And their manager has come out to say that for the results they got yesterday, he is comfortable with it against the Real Mallorca, while getting a 1-goal victory. And of course, moving 7 points clear in the Spanish La Liga. Remember that Real Madrid still have a game in hand though. But then you talk about all the events that happened across other centers as well. We talk about Nigerian sports, Nigerian athletics to be precise, and then we talk about what else? That's the world of that's athletics and tennis stories on the show this lovely morning. For Victor James Osimhen was in action yesterday for his side Galatasaray. 30 goals, 6 assists in 35 matches. Well, this man is doing so well for Galatasaray there in Turkey. And how can you describe his season? And of course, for Galatasaray, they are on course for a domestic double. That's as they are in the finals of the Turkish Cup, and as well as having that 5-point lead at the top of the Turkish standings. One defeat, you could tell that they have that solid point for themselves this season after 30 games played, and they have 6 games left to play there in the Turkish top flight football league. So we discuss about this and so many more in today's edition of the show right on 32 FM 94.9, and you are listening to the voice of Oluwatomilehin SAMIES Ogidi on the program this lovely Wednesday morning. Well, let's join our partners, the BBC, to take a listen to what they have for us on that front. The BBC Premier League update, aftermath of the game that went down yesterday, and what we expect later today. Crystal Palace, they'll be going to the Emirates Stadium to face off against Arsenal Football Club. The BBC Premier League update.
BBC Premier League update from the home of Premier League football.
Hello, I'm Paul Serres at the BBC Sports Centre. A 94th minute goal from Matheus Nunes, his first for the club in the English Premier League, gave Manchester City a 2-1 victory over Aston Villa. City took the lead early on through Bernardo Silva, with a Marcus Rashford penalty levelling things up shortly after, before Nunes sealed the win. Here is the match winner.
It's a journey, isn't it? And I'm trying to learn to play in a different position. Every week I think I'm doing better and better, getting more used to everything. And yeah, just trying to get better, learn new stuff every day. And yeah, it was a very, of course, pleasant moment. I was very happy to do it, but the most important is the 3 points that I think is what everyone wanted.
City are third, Villa 7th. Arsenal face Crystal Palace at the Emirates Stadium on Wednesday. The Gunners' boss, Mikel Arteta, says they have to be at their best to get the result they want.
It's a really difficult opponent. When you look at the games and what they've done away from home, especially as well, against certain opposition, impressive. So tomorrow we're going to have to be really good.
Meanwhile, the Palace head coach Oliver Glasner says that at this stage of the season there are few surprises.
No, I expect both teams entering the pitch to win the game. So for Arsenal, I think it's because they don't play at the weekend, so I think they want to stay in the rhythm. We expect them playing with their strongest team. They have 6 days time for the Champions League semi-final, and they play at home, and I think I think this is what all the fans deserve, that they see the best teams, and we will play with the best available team tomorrow as well.
And for more football news from the BBC, go to bbc.com/football.
BBC Premier League update from the home of Premier League football.
All right, so there you listen to the BBC Premier League update. Those were the actions that went down yesterday, and of course, what we expect later today there in England. But then there are still games set to go down across various centres. Where in the Italian Serie A, it is Cagliari against Fiorentina, Genoa will be up against Lazio, Parma against Juventus, and Torino will be up against Udinese. And in the Spanish La Liga, Real Madrid will be playing against Cristantos, which is Getafe, Alaves against Real Sociedad, Celta Vigo will be up against Villarreal, and Atletico de Bilbao, who lost last weekend by a goal to nil, will be up against Las Palmas. They're in the Spanish La Liga games are set to go down for today. That's Wednesday, the 23rd day in the month of April. But then, still talking about updates from Italian football. Inter Milan's match against Roma, it has been postponed due to a clash of Pope Francis' funeral, with the Vatican announced that will take place. That's on Saturday, and Serie A said all three matches scheduled for Saturday would be rescheduled, with Inter moved to Sunday, being the highest profile as they contest the league title with Napoli. Well, following the invitation of the president of the Italian National Olympic Committee to suspend all sporting events scheduled for Saturday, 26th April 2025, in respect of the funeral of His Holiness Pope Francis, the following matches of Serie A match day 34, it has been postponed. Almost of the matches there in Italian football. But then we'll come straight to Nigerian football. Let's take updates from the Nigerian scene, and this is concerning the Flying Eagles of Nigeria, whom of course are far away there in Egypt, but then you tell that what are they doing at this point in time? Well, for the Flying Eagles, they defeated Young Pharaohs there in a friendly game, and of course for Aliu Zubairu and his boys, the friendly match we went down at the Cairo International Stadium. It's part of their build-up to the African The 20 Cup of Nations, built to take place from the 27th. That's on Sunday through the 18th of May. 2-1 was the result of that game, but there has been a piece of advice from Wu, that's Manu Garba, the Golden Eaglets coach. He has charged the Flying Eagles to put behind their victory over Egypt and focus on a Group B opener against Tunisia. Definitely, let's see how that goes also for the Flying Eagles of Nigeria. And we move away from that also and discuss about the Nigeria Premier Football League, where of course for Finidi Georgie has come out to say that Rivers United won't relent in their title pursuit. What is going on in the NPFL? You take a look at the standing on the NPFL, and then you see that for Rivers United, who definitely found themselves behind the Remo Stars at the top of the summit. For Remo Stars, they have 65 points, and then for Rivers United, they have 58 points. That's a 7-point lead for Remo Stars. But Finidi George has come out to say that the side won't give up on their pursuit for a second Nigeria Premier Football League title. Let's see how that goes. And also for that Remo Stars captain, he has also come out to say that Ndukal Jr., he expressed the confidence that his team can stay ahead of the title rivals in the title race for the Nigeria Premier Football League. And then this big update from the NPFL also asks that the Nigeria Premier Football League, they have imposed a fine of 3.5 million naira on El Kanemi Warriors for security breaches during their match against Ikorodu City. And the NPFL has also ordered the closure of the El Kanemi Warriors Stadium in Maiduguri to funds for the remainder of the season. Definitely, these are not the best news for sides in the Nigeria Premier Football League. And then we move away from that and discuss about basketball stories at this point in time. I'm talking about the updates from the world of basketball. It's all about the playoffs games that went down just in the early hours of today, where Luka Doncic scored a game high 31 points for the Los Angeles Lakers as they defeated the Minnesota Timberwolves 94-85 to level their Western Conference first round playoff series at 1-1. You tell that this was definitely a big performance from Luka Doncic. And then you tell about another game which definitely went down. That's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander scored 27 points for the OKC Thunders as the teammates Jalen Williams and Chet Holmgren added 24 and 20 points respectively. That's the Western Conference. The Oklahoma City Thunders, they went 2-0 up in the first round playoff series against the Memphis Grizzlies, courtesy of a comfortable 118-99 home win. All right, lastly, before we leave the show, this lovely morning, well, four-time Grand Slam champion Naomi Osaka, well, in the world of tennis, you could tell that it is not the best of result for her, as she has been dumped out. That's from that game just in the early hours of today. And then you talk about another update from the world of tennis. Well, definitely these concerns who that for Jannik Sinner, well, he does not deserve any hit. That's according to the words of Jacques Draper. And for Katie Butler, she breaks a new ground that with her first WTA clay win, which definitely is a good one for her. Well, of course, this is how far we can go into this edition of the show right on 32 FM 94.9. We'll come later in the afternoon by 3:30. Well, we'll discuss more sporting stories to make it around stand exciting world of sport. Up next is Papa Vendo, and I am SAMIES, your sports captain. Do enjoy the rest of the day, and bye for now.